In the year 2167, Earth had long since become a forgotten relic in the galaxy, overshadowed by the vast advanced civilizations of the Trian, the Varthians, and other species scattered across the stars. The once mighty human race had faded into obscurity, living in the outer regions of the galaxy in tiny colonies, far from the influence of intergalactic politics. Yet, no one could have predicted that it would be the so-called carnivorous humans who would change the course of galactic history. It began with the arrival of the Xerath, an alien species whose technology was centuries ahead of anything the humans had ever encountered. They came without warning, descending on the colony of New Earth like a storm. Their ships filled the skies, and their weapons, a strange, pulse-based energy, rendered human defenses useless. Entire cities were obliterated in minutes. The Xerath had one goal: to consume all human life. It wasn't just the humans' resources that intrigued them, but their biology. The Xerath were a species that lived off the life force of others, a dark and insatiable hunger that consumed everything in its path. And humans, with their unique genetic structure, were the perfect prey. At first, the galaxy watched as the human colonies fell, believing it was just a matter of time before Earth itself would be wiped out. The Trian, with their advanced tactics, and the Varthians, with their unrivaled intellect, offered little more than hollow promises of aid. Humans are a dying species, they said. Their time is over. But there was one thing they hadn't accounted for. The human carnivores, a term coined by outsiders for those who still held on to the primal instincts of their ancient ancestors, were not the weak, helpless beings the rest of the galaxy believed them to be. The human race had been surviving in isolation for years, their bodies and minds conditioned by the harsh realities of life on the fringes of space. The carnivores were the outliers, the warriors who had refused to embrace the pacifistic trends that had overtaken the rest of humanity. As the Xerath forces descended upon New Earth, a group of these carnivorous humans rallied under the banner of Commander Zara O'Rourke, a seasoned leader whose blood ran with the fire of humanity's survival instinct. Zara, along with her team of fighters, soldiers, engineers, and tacticians who had spent years surviving off the land in the harshest environments, refused to surrender. They knew something that the Xerath didn't. While the Xerath may have had superior technology, humanity had something far more powerful, far more primal, and far more dangerous: their hunger. It wasn't the same as the Xerath's predatory need to consume life force. No, the human's hunger was born of resilience, a deep-rooted urge to survive, fight, and protect. It had been shaped by centuries of living on the edge of extinction, where only the strong survived and the weak were cast aside. They had honed their instincts over generations of adversity, adapting in ways that no other species had. Zara and her team quickly became the symbol of resistance. They began to fight back, guerrilla style, using tactics that baffled the Xerath. They didn't rely on technology alone. Instead, they used their knowledge of Earth's wilderness, their survival skills, and their sheer, unrelenting determination to outsmart their more advanced foes. At first, the Xerath thought the humans' resistance was a mere annoyance, easily dismissed. But as time went on, they realized the humans were not like any other species they had encountered. Every time they thought they had cornered their prey, the humans escaped, only to strike back harder. The Xerath found themselves confused and frustrated. They couldn't understand why these primitive humans refused to give up. Their resolve seemed endless, their tactics unpredictable. Zara knew that their only chance of survival was to turn the Xerath's own hunger against them. The humans had always been survivalists, resourceful in ways that no other species could match. They began to experiment with the Xerath's technology, using it against them. They hacked into Xerath communications, disrupted their supply lines, and savaged their ships. They planted bombs in the heart of Xerath cities, and when the invaders tried to retaliate, the humans would vanish into the wild, only to strike again. Months passed, and the war raged on, but the tide was slowly turning. The humans had learned to fight with the ferocity of cornered predators, using their instincts, their hunger to survive, to push back the Xerath forces. Then came the final battle. The Xerath had assembled their largest fleet yet, planning a decisive strike that would crush the humans once and for all. But they underestimated the humans' adaptability. Zara, who had been leading the charge from the front lines, knew this would be their last stand. They had one shot to win this war. Using the last of their resources, the humans launched a desperate counterattack. Zara led a small, elite team straight into the heart of the Xerath mothership, determined to strike at the source of their power. The Xerath were caught off guard, unable to anticipate the humans' boldness. As they fought their way through the alien ship, Zara's team disabled the core, triggering a chain reaction that would destroy the Xerath's fleet. The explosion was heard across the galaxy, a resounding declaration that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Xerath were defeated, their invasion plans thwarted, and the humans emerged victorious. In the aftermath, the galaxy could no longer ignore the humans. The carnivorous humans, as they were now known, had saved the day. Their resilience, their primal hunger to survive, and their unyielding determination had turned the tide of the war. They had proven that the human spirit was not something to be extinguished, no matter how advanced or powerful the enemies they faced. The other species in the galaxy, once dismissive of humanity, now looked upon them with newfound respect. They had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a species that has survived against all odds. The carnivorous humans, with their hunger to live, had saved the galaxy from certain destruction. And as Zara stood atop the ruined wreckage of the Xerath mothership, she looked out at the stars, knowing that humanity's place in the galaxy had been secured once more.